He's a bad play call away from having 2.
I agree. Wilson actually at this point.
So I would put Wilson
I
above those other 2 if I was a general manager
of
the team. But that's what gets me. Like, why are you going to pay Dak more than Jared Goff, who got his team to a Super Bowl? Dak didn't get his team to a Super Bowl, which he was playing for a bum of a coach. Different deal.
Let me ask you this, Gary, real quick. Kind of, what do you think the best moves for the team? What positions? What does the Dallas Cowboys need to get close or go to a Super Bowl?
Oh, talent-wise, they need to upgrade a little bit on defense, their safeties, but I mean, offensively, talent-wise, I'll take that talent against any team in the league.
So do you think giving him that kind of money is just really hurting the rest of the team?
I don't think he deserves it yet.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Gary, what you're saying is, the deal is, if you really think your talent, all the rest of your talent is there, then you should be like, you know what, if we have the cap, we should pay Dak because we can win it this year.
Franchise him. Tell him, we're going to franchise you.
Well, I thought he was saying he's not going to play on franchise.
Well, see, I don't know. I mean, things that I'm reading, but I haven't seen anything official from Dak. But I'm saying, if I'm the team, I'll go to him and say, hey, we're going to franchise you.
It's when it gets really – I mean, it's interesting. Okay. And I mean, no matter what Dak does, and I want to throw that out, I want to throw this out there, no matter what Dak does with his money, he's a good dude.
Yeah.
He's just trying to get paid.
I'm not.
I don't fault him for that
I'm
at all.
not saying anything bad about the person.
Oh, he's definitely a good guy.
Are there any
if
other
if I was in his position, I'd be trying to get him every dollar I could.
Okay, so if the offensive line's that good, the receivers, the running back, are there any cheaper quarterbacks out there that could probably come out and do better?
See, and that's what I'm saying. I don't know. But Dak has been playing under a bum of a coach. So if I'm the team, I'll go to Dak and I'll say, you know what, we're going to franchise you, okay, this year. If you're as good as you say you are, we're going to make you the highest paid quarterback next spring.
And
if someone came to you and said that, you wouldn't be like, you know what, you guys don't have faith in me?
Dak has said all along, I've always bet on myself. This would be the ultimate bet on yourself, right?
Man, it's so hard because the way Dak would look at that at that franchise money is being like, dude, I am literally leaving $80 million on the table.
Not necessarily. Right. Not if he plays really well.
But if he gets hurt.
It's 1 year.
What if he gets hurt?
He's still going to get around 30.
What if he gets hurt?
You hit a topic there, Gary, a minute ago.
Oh, my God.
Don't be Carson Wentz.
I know what you're saying. The way the players look at it is good. They want the guaranteed. That way, if they get hurt, they're good. They're still good. Because if he gets hurt, he's screwed.
Here's to the rest of the nation, the non-Cowboy nation. You say bum of a coach. What about a bum of an owner that's making the coach a bum of a coach?
I feel that. I'm not a Jerry Jones fan.
Jerry Jones had nothing to do with the way Jason Garrett coached.
I'd have to disagree there.
I'm not.
Okay.
I think.
I'm going to tell you, neither of you guys have coached. I've coached at 6 different high schools. And the principal of the high school or the athletic director of the high school has never changed the way that I have done things.
I know what
but
you're
they're
saying.
not the multi-million-dollar owner with an ego.
You guys are both right. You guys are both right in that aspect. But I would say this: Jerry should have let him go about 2 years ago.
Well, about 5, but
you know what I mean. So Jerry does influence that because Jerry kept him there, and he shouldn't have.
But what if we see the same thing with the next coach because there's underlying things that we don't know about? We already know he's a meddler. We know he's a meddler.
Well, see, I don't think Jerry Jones has meddled since Parcells came in.
I don't know if I believe that.
He hasn't meddled to the ability that we saw it. He's meddling. It's his personality.
I say he's not.
I think he is. And some of the language he's saying now. I mean, some of the language, him and Steven. Some of the language
him taking so long to get rid of him taking so long to get rid of Coach too was I think part of his stubbornnness.
One thing is too is for me, if I was a Cowboys fan, I'd want them to be more, just more not honest, more honest, but more like out with it because. I mean, I'm the Chiefs guy, so I'm going to say what the Chiefs are doing. The Chiefs literally came out and said, yeah, with Patrick Mahomes, it's 12 to 15 months, and we're going to get a contract done. We're waiting for the CBA, and we're going to figure it out. I mean, they put it all out there, and so everyone goes, okay. And then that way Mahomes goes, yeah, sure.
But see, they can do that because they have another year.
Well, yeah, but at the same time, Dallas should have done it last year and said, yeah.
Well, they thought a deal would get done before the season.
If Dak has a good year, we're going to sign him. And he had a good year. But they ain't doing nothing. So, if I was Dallas, here's the deal. All you got, there's no total right way to do it, but you have to figure out what you want. If you want to try to go for a Super Bowl this year or next year, next 2 years, you have to sign him. If you're saying, you know what, I'm good with a rebuild, then you go ahead and say, hey, man, franchise tag, and maybe we cut you, or maybe we let you go, or we tag you and trade you, and we'll go ahead and just rebuild. Now, a rebuild in Dallas literally is probably a year.
So, but you don't think you could franchise tag him if he's not happy?
I don't think he'll play.
Let me finish. Franchise tag him, and if he's saying I'm not going to play for it, trade him to Cincinnati for the number 1 pick. Then you can have any of those quarterbacks you want.
See, I don't think Cincy will do that. I think Cincy would rather have Burrow. They'll go Dalton 1 year and then go Burrow.
Do you think that? Or do you think for the franchise it would be better to have what you're saying is a proven guy that can win in the NFL?
I think Burrow
step right in.
Burrow is going to be special.
Let me say this.
I would take Burrow over Dak.
I think Burrow's going to have an average NFL career.
Oof. I would take Burrow over Dak.
I think it's good for our market, for Dallas to be America's team, not New England, what has become America's team. We may
Dallas?
not like. No.
You'll never convince me otherwise.
They're not.
I know.
The 5 highest rated games in the NFL last year all had the Cowboys in them.
But they're not that same. They're not the same America's team whenever I was a kid, though.
But I'm saying, look at the top 5 games watched by the NFL last year in the regular season.
That's not true. Regular season, yes, it's true.
Regular season,
but what I'm saying, it's not the same that it was back in the day. But anyway, I think if the Dallas Cowboys start doing better again, you'd hear less about New England. It's kind of like I know two different divisions, but they've kind of flopped. The blue and the gold.
I see what you're saying. Yeah, I see what you're saying. I mean, the deal is it's tough because when you have
it's good for our market.
Yeah, and it's tough on a contract is tough because when you have a guy that can win for sure, what do? Do you go ahead and just take care of him? Do you go ahead and give him what he wants, or do you play hardball with him?
I don't know that he can win when it counts because his coach couldn't.
Talking about markets real quick. So when KU, Mizzou, and K-State are all doing really good in all their sports.
It's good for Kansas State.
Yeah, it's good for our market, right? So we start taking our Midwest sector. What are the teams that are good for us in this sector? The Cowboys are one of them.
Absolutely. You guys got me fired up.
I noticed. I'm about ready to sit down and turn my mic off.
He's going crazy right now.
Fired up. But so anyway, we'll see what they do. Thursday is the deadline. Franchise tag. So we'll know. Today's Monday. We'll know on Thursday whether Dak's getting franchised or what. And then I'm sure shortly after we'll know if he's going to play under that. And maybe even it's not Cincinnati. Maybe it's in Miami at 2 or no, Miami's not that high. Who's at 2?
What?
Washington's at 2, so you're not going to trade Dak there.
And Washington,
he's in the division.
No. They're not going to trade Dak.
I mean, I could see it happening. We'll see.
I like these. Hey, look! Turn around. Look at whenever one of these guys on the floor turn around. Look at their shirts. They got like 2 pistols on them. They're pretty cool on the blue, dark blue.
We're playing like a legit game here.
Yeah, we got a little league going.
No, dude. With Dallas, Dallas literally has to figure out: do we want to keep the sure thing, or do we want to take a shot, or take a chance and try to draft somebody or whatever. Either way, I with the head coach you guys got now, I think you're better off just re-signing Dak and rolling with it, dude.
Okay, so
here's the deal. We can talk about what we think is right. What I think is actually going to happen is that Dallas re-signs Dak.
Well, the only reason
that's why I think is.
I think he's definitely getting franchised on Thursday.
The only reason he gets that kind of.
I think he actually will play through the season.
Which franchise they can still work on a long-term deal before the season starts.
I think Dallas signs Dak to long-term. He's a top 10 quarterback. 100%. You sign him a long-term deal.
Okay,
You
so
get it done.
we talked about the blue and gold or blue and silver KC Boulevard beer. Now let's talk about the new red and white one or red and gold one coming out for the Royals home opener.
Yeah.
How much importance do you think the Chiefs need to put into finding a backup quarterback in case something does happen to Mahomes, because they're starting to spread the wealth around the rest of the team? I don't know if we have that guy that can take us.
Oh, you definitely – I mean, we saw – Kansas City fans saw how valuable it was this year with Matt Moore. He's kind of an unsung MVP, I know to you.
For sure. Isn't he coming back?
Yeah, why?
I'm sure he is.
Is Matt Moore not coming back?
Yeah, but I just don't know if he's that guy. If
he was the guy that did it last year.
Yeah.
I'm good with Matt Moore.
Why couldn't he be the guy to do it again?
No.
All right, I was just thinking bigger name, but
I know what you're thinking.
Yeah, I mean, I get it. You might be thinking a bigger name, but you want a name or do you want to? I mean, to me, the backup quarterback, I don't want to name a backup quarterback.
Well, and the reason
then the first time that guy messes up, I don't care who he is. I don't care if his name's Joe Montana. First time he slipped up a little bit, people were like, "Why isn't Steve Young playing?"
Well, if Joe Montana could have sprinted or ran like the youth of Patrick Mahomes, we probably would have been in at least a Super Bowl with him.
Yeah.
But that's what got him hurt.
He wouldn't have left. He wouldn't have left San Francisco if he could do that.
But here, and we wouldn't have a Super Bowl without Patrick Mahomes leaving the pocket either.
Absolutely not.
But Mama says he's grounded.
Yeah, she said that for the one game. But we'll see what happens. Like I said, franchise tag coming up. Thursday is the deadline for the NFL. So we'll see what all these teams do, not only Dallas, but Chiefs have already used theirs. They franchise tagged Chris Jones, and they are saying that they are going to work on a deal, which they still can. I think you have until – I think there's a date in July where you can no longer negotiate, or maybe it's August, maybe even early September, maybe like that around the first week of the season where you can no longer negotiate contracts, but – their plan is to get a deal done with Chris Jones before that date. The Chiefs.
Explain the Iowa gear today.
I just, I
threw it
felt
on.
like Big Ten tournament starts this week as well. And, Iowa's had a bad year in basketball, not very good. They've lost a lot of games that people thought they should have won. And probably because of them losing – and a combination of the Chiefs getting to the Super Bowl and the XFL starting the week after that. I have not followed college basketball as closely as I normally do. So, but I just felt like it was time to bring the Iowa gear out. I'm still a Hawkeye, even though we have had a bad year. It has, it worked out that I'm wearing this today. And, when I moved to Iowa back in 2003 from Kansas City, people told me that, I had to choose Iowa or Iowa State. And so I went Hawkeyes, and I've never looked back and never regretted that decision. On another football side note, before we kind of get into the XFL, I want to take a minute and personally thank some coaches from Shawnee Mission East that are moving on, got other jobs, other responsibilities. Coach Derek Ryder is going to spend more time with his family. He's been at Shawnee Mission East since I came in, so we were there 5 years together. And so Coach Ryder gave me some rides home. Sometimes people know I don't drive, so gave me rides home kind of for those first couple of years we were working together. And I always appreciated that and him doing that for me. And Coach Drew Steffen got a job as a defensive coordinator at Eudora. So congratulations to him. I did talk a little bit about that last week on the show. But been riding in with him. He comes from Lawrence. Just too far of a drive. He didn't want to continue that drive all the time with two small kids at home. And just have an extra, hour and a half to 2 hours a day traveling back and forth. And then last week, Coach Danny Long resigned, our defensive coordinator, co-defensive coordinator, And, I just want to thank him for the things that he's taught me. Again, he came into East the same year I did.